Hello everybody, welcome back to the Mark Guide. This is the third one and we will be taking care of Marks 11 through 15. The first one here is obviously Mark 11, Pride Before a Fall. This one's pretty easy. I'm trying to think of what rank this one was here. Looks like a C, so yeah. I actually haven't been really mentioning the ranks. For the most part, they are, I suppose, easy. So A's are the most difficult, B's, next, and then so on and so forth. But I think I kind of usually just take them, mark to mark. That rating I wouldn't say is always the best indicator of difficulty, but anyways, this one, I would say actually that an aggression paradigm wouldn't be so bad, with multiple commandos, especially if you're having any troubles. As with the other enemies of this type, they will eventually summon more enemies if they live long enough, which is exactly what they're trying to do right now. So otherwise, if you're having issues, as with all marks, if it's possible, because not every mark you can do this with, but if the option is there, shrouds typically help quite a bit. And this is one of those marks that you very well could. Now, obviously, this Verdale summoned a Gorgonopsid in on us. Luckily, though, the Gorgonopsid is not that big of an issue. And on top of that, they actually give you a really generous target time for these fights, just because they expect the enemies to summon. So let's see that here. The target time at 2 minutes 15, and we did it in 1:24. So not too bad. Not too bad. And you get 2 frost rings for this, so I don't know. Typically those elemental type accessories, I didn't really get a whole lot of use out of in my game, but that's not to say that they're not any good. Anyways, moving on here, we've got Mark 12. This is Gyseric the Profane. Oh, interesting name there. And then this will actually open up an area that leads to the Chocobos. So, like I say, I actually really like to do these in order, and reason being it just, opens up some interesting stuff. Chocobos being one of those. Alright, here he is. Don't let his size fool you. He's not that difficult. For this guy, I'm trying to remember exactly what I did here. I would sure think I'd want to try to debuff him, but we'll see here. Maybe not. Ah, yes. Percussive blow. That did like, what, 60% damage or 55, something like that, so pretty brutal. The good thing, and I forgot about this guy actually, is that his stagger threshold is fairly low, to be honest. So you can see here, I've got him staggered already within the first, couple seconds of the fight. Now, unfortunately, without him being debuffed, it's going to be an issue to actually get him taken down in a decent amount of time. So, that being said, I think it's actually much more wise to get him debuffed before you get him staggered. And then that way you can actually capitalize on this, 999% damage here. And another way to kind of capitalize on that is actually to have a couple of commandos. So like, aggression is a perfect paradigm for that. You just want to really capitalize on the fact that you've got him, cranked up so high. And once you hit that 999% there, the Ravagers aren't doing as much for you as, say 2 commandos would. So that's my 2 cents. I don't actually think that this turned out too badly. If I remember right, I ended up... Well, maybe I didn't get a 4 or a 5-star here on the first try. I guess we'll see. We're gonna find out. But I don't remember having to take him down a second time. So Anyways, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get Protect on yourself, especially if you're not able to take him down quite quickly enough. And again, now this is really going to determine, or be dependent on your stats. You know, if you aren't able to get him down in a decent amount of time, you know, like I said, it's probably a good idea to adjust your strategy just a bit. Oh wow, yeah, we blew that away. Okay, so no problems there. That was really good. All right, so there's the 5-star rating and the Royal Armlet. Sorry, and those are actually fairly useful. Geyserek actually does have a couple of drops as well, but I would not recommend farming him. He's another one of those enemies that actually has a decent drop, but I just don't feel like it's worth the time. Anyways, all right, so let's move on here. This should be mark number 13, I believe, if I can count. Yes, all right, so Eternity Unpromised. Okay. And it's looking like, where is this mark actually at? Okay, yeah, so he's up kind of by the north exit, I suppose, of the area. So I just ran over here and grabbed a chocobo. We're gonna cut that out though. There we go. So getting right to it. All right, so this is the goblin chieftain actually, and then 3 of the smaller goblins. Now, as with this type of enemy, I always recommend taking down the little guys first. I'm not sure if every single one of these. So there's the goblins, there's the munchkins. I kind of lop them into the same kind of category, but I know for sure the goblins will use an ability called Rise to Power. If the chieftain is dead and these little guys are still alive, so that'll actually turn them into chieftains. And there's actually a couple of enemies that kind of have similar behavior in the game, but generally, like I said, a good idea is actually to just take down the little guys first, and then you don't have to worry about that. So anyways, that's what we're gonna do. The goblin chieftain actually will buff up the little guys a little bit, but as long as you're using Relentless, it shouldn't take too long to get these guys down. But that's pretty much it as far as strategy goes for this one. As always, if you're having issues, I would suggest buffs or equipment. Sorry. Making sure if you're trying to get 5 stars on these, always a good idea is making sure that your characters have sprint shoes. Things like auto haste, or auto haste with the sprint shoes. Anyways, auto bravery as well as auto faith can go a long ways as well. So, and then if all else fails, you can, I guess, resort to shrouds. Again, those go a long ways, to be honest. And unfortunately, though, at this stage in the game, they're not all that easy. I shouldn't say that. When I'm actually doing this, I've already beat the game, so I shouldn't really say that at this stage in the game it's not easy to get them, because it is. But I would say maybe the original, if you're trying to do this, pre-story ending. I don't know what's a better way to say that. Before you've beat the game, then it can be a little more difficult to obtain those shrouds. Anyways, we got the Koboldite as the reward for that. Not real wild on that. I already had a ton of those, but they're useful for upgrading items. Anyways, this is what is this, Mark 14? Yeah, Mark 14. And I actually chopped out a little scene here. There's a little cutscene that plays before you tackle this battle, where a chocobo is kind of pinned, and essentially you come to its rescue. And this actually is what unlocks the chocobos. So the reward here is the Gishal Reins. So actually, this is obviously the second time that I had done that. And so the first time I only got a 4-star rating, so I had to redo the actual fight. But anyways, here you've got the primer. This talks all about the chocobo riding. You know, essentially there's a couple of places on the Archaeal Steppe where you can jump on a chocobo and ride it around. Here they explain the morale. Basically, you can only run into monsters 3 times before it kicks you off. And then here's the treasures. And I did a big treasure hunting guide and kind of just described the ins and outs of that. So I won't do that here. But you know, if you're interested in that, you can always check out that guide. Anyways, you actually need the chocobos to reach mission 15. This is tribal warfare, and this is actually just going to be another set of goblins, if I remember correctly here. I think this one's a little tougher though. I think there's just a few more, you know, so the battle ends up being stretched out a bit. Oh yeah, that's a lot more. So what's there? 2, 4, 5 little guys and 1 big one. So this one, actually, to be all honest with you, you know, the strategy is going to be the exact same as the other goblin fight there. You know, just take down the little guys. That's going to be your, you know, the main. Yeah, what is that? 2, 4. Oh, there's 6 of those little guys. 5. Anyways, yeah. So you know, make sure you take down the little ones. Unfortunately, though, being that there's so many of them, what's going to end up happening here is you're going to end up healing a bit more. So with that being said, I'd actually suggest get yourself buffed up first. I kind of just went for trying to take them down, you know, quickly. But I think actually putting Protect on everybody would have been a really, really good first move. You know, just because, again, that would have reduced the amount of outgoing damage. Now, that can actually be a bit difficult. So you may need to tag team one medic up with, you know, your synergist to keep everybody healed up while you're buffing. Normally I would, you know, probably just have Hope buff everybody while, you know, Fang is a commando and Lightning is Ravager, but unfortunately with the amount of damage that these guys can put out, you know, that might not be an option for you. So again, you know, think about kind of how you want to tackle it. I guess it's, you know, it's really going to be up to you to decide what the best strategy for you is going to be. Obviously, I tried to get here and take care of this mark as soon as possible, so my characters are not maybe as developed as they potentially could be. Anyways, yeah, it's looking okay here. We're getting a little lowish, but Hope's able to pull it off. Unfortunately, with these 3, I'm not sure if anybody's got haste at this point in time. So, you know, again, that might be something that you want to think about too. You know, kind of who you're bringing into battle. You know, to make sure you got your buffs covered. And you know, if all else fails, you can always come back later. You know, once you hit stage 10 of the Cassarium, that really opens up, you know, a ton of options as far as you know, character combinations, and you know, you're kind of not really pigeonholed into specific team setups like I kind of feel you are at certain points in the game. So anyways, there's not much else to say about this fight. It's slow but sure, we're taking these guys down. Again, the heals are actually pretty important for this one. You know, you just gotta be able to keep up while still doing damage. So somebody like Hope is really gonna go a long ways. And again, those having Protect up is pretty nice too. That's just gonna, you know, reduce the amount of time that he has to spend in his medic role, and thus, you know, you can put out more damage in his Ravager roll instead. I'm not sure why I paused here. Maybe I just needed to take a little break, whatever. Kind of weird, random. And just real quick here, I want to talk about a bit actually about this this reward here. So actually, we'll get the Survivalist catalog, sorry, for the defeating this mark for the first time, and that's actually going to increase your drop rate of Shrouds, which unfortunately isn't all that great anyway. The Shroud drop rate is actually pretty atrocious. But you know, if that's something that you need or want, and you can spare the accessory slot, well, you know what? Again, you can give that a rip and see how it works out for you. But anyways, this is gonna actually, yeah, this will end up being the last mark here. So I'll probably just cut the commentary here. So hope these guides are helpful. And I guess I hope you join me for the next mark guide, which will be 16 through 20. All right, thanks for watching.